You know when you're watching a movie and there's a dog that just steals the scene, or maybe a horse in some huge battle? Have you ever stopped and wondered, who's actually looking out for them? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on the official rules here in the Philippines for using animals in media. We're going to break down what productions have to do to make sure every single animal on set is safe and cared for. And it all kicks off with this one single powerful idea, taken straight from the official circular. Animals are not props. I mean, let that sink in. This isn't just a nice thought. It's the core belief that shapes every single rule we're going to talk about. It's a statement that these are living, feeling beings, not just part of the background. So what are all these regulations based on? Well, it all comes down to what are called the 5 basic needs of animals. Every single rule is designed to make sure these 5 points are covered always. It's not just about, not being cruel. It's about actively giving them the right environment, the right food, the freedom to just be themselves, and of course, protecting them from fear, pain, and harm.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with that core principle we just talked about, then we'll follow an animal's journey through a production. We'll look at the prep work before filming starts, the rules on set, what happens after the cameras stop rolling, and finally, how these productions are actually held accountable.
All right, let's dive into our first stop, the pre-production phase. This is where all the really important groundwork for animal welfare gets laid, way before anyone even thinks about yelling action. So, before a single animal can step foot on a set, the production company has to get a very specific document. It's called an Animal Event Clearance. And let me tell you, this is absolutely non-negotiable. It's the official green light from the government's Bureau of Animal Industry, or BAI.
So what is this clearance thing really? Think of it as the official permission slip. It means the government knows about the project, they know exactly which animals are involved, and they've given their formal go-ahead for that specific production. It's really the first big accountability checkpoint in the whole process. And getting that clearance? It's not as simple as just asking. You got to look at the sheer amount of detail required here. Producers submit a whole stack of documents, their business registration, a contract with the animal supplier, and, this is super important, a signed agreement with a registered vet who has to be on set. It just goes to show how seriously they vet this process from the get-go. So, the paperwork is filed, the permits are in hand, and our animal actor has arrived on set. What happens now? What are the rules when the cameras are actually rolling?
This brings us to probably the most important person on that set, at least for our animal co-star, the animal event veterinarian. And this isn't just any vet. They have to be specifically registered with the BAI for this exact role, and they have to be there. They are, for all intents and purposes, the animal's official advocate on set.
And don't think this vet is just for show. They have real authority. They have to be there for the entire shoot. They check every animal before it goes in front of the camera. And they have the final say. If that vet decides an animal isn't fit to perform, maybe it's stressed, maybe it's tired, they can have it removed from the set, period. They are the first line of defense, and it's legally required.
Some of these rules also cover what you might call common sense. I mean, leaving an animal all by itself on a chaotic film set? Absolutely forbidden. They have to be with an experienced handler at all times.
And here's another one that is an absolute hard and fast rule. The animal's health comes first. Productions are strictly forbidden from using any animal that is sick, injured, or pregnant. The needs of the movie never, ever come before the well-being of the animal.
Okay, this brings up a big question. One I bet a lot of you have thought about when you're watching a really intense scene. What happens when the story itself seems to show an animal getting hurt? And the answer is simple, and it's strict. It has to be fake. The rules are crystal clear on this one. Any scene that shows violence, injury, or death must be simulated. That means they use animal doubles, like animatronics or puppets, CGI, and really careful staged action. Real harm is never, ever an option. Okay, so the director yells, "That's a wrap," and the animal actors have all gone home. But the process doesn't stop there. The responsibility carries on long after that final cut.
Check out this timeline. The clock starts ticking the second filming ends. Within just 3 days, that on-set vet has to submit a post-production report to the BAI. And this isn't just some quick summary. It's a sworn statement. On top of that, producers can also submit their own signed declaration that no animals were harmed.
So what happens if that vet's report raises a red flag? Or what if you, watching at home, suspect something is wrong? Well, this system has teeth. The Bureau of Animal Industry can demand to see the footage. Animal welfare enforcement officers can actually launch an investigation. And, this is really important,
The law empowers NGOs and even regular citizens to file a formal complaint.
So that brings us to our final section. We've seen the rules, the oversight, the reporting, but what happens when somebody actually breaks them? What are the real consequences?
Well, the authorities have two main tools they can use: suspension and revocation. You can think of a suspension like a temporary timeout. The production company can't use animals for a little while. But revocation, that's the big one. That means their permission is canceled completely.
So what kind of stuff gets you in hot water? Well, the reasons are laid out pretty clearly. Things like lying on your application, ignoring what the on-set vet tells you to do, or pretty much any other violation of these rules can lead to a production losing its privilege to work with animals.
But just how serious is a full revocation? I mean, really, what does that mean? Well, it all comes down to this one number. 3. That's right. If a production company gets its authorization revoked, they are banned from using animals in any of their projects for 3 full years. In the crazy fast world of filmmaking, a 3-year ban is not just a slap on the wrist. It's a huge penalty and a pretty powerful reason to follow the rules.
So there you have it. From the first piece of paperwork to the final report, there's this whole system in place designed to protect animal actors. The next time you see an animal steal a scene, you'll know there's this entire invisible framework of rules, vets, and reports working behind the scenes. Which kind of leaves us with one last question. Now that you know all the rules, are you going to look at animals on screen a little differently?